production company that focuses in filmmaking, the storytelling business. We basically take you through. We basically take the entire film process. That's from the pre-production, the production, the post-production, and we really enjoy the filmmaking process, writing the stories, coming up with different ideas here and there, going through the hardship of making sure that that story comes to life, bringing it in a creative way, trying to spice it up just a bit more, just to make it a bit more interesting here and there, and the post-production process, which is the most, where the magic actually happens. So yeah, that's basically what we do.
All right. So that's interesting. And you'll take us through the whole process for people who don't know about it. But before that, tell us about your experience when you started. You know, when we were speaking with Anthony, he's telling me it's not the first time he's coming to KBC, you know, because he's been here, but not as a guest, but as an actor. And so tell us about the program that you're acting for in KBC.
So I used to act for Mary Mella's House. I started off back in 2012. I think I was around 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I was around 14 years old. It was my first interaction with basically the production. So
that's in the Mary Mella.
Yeah. So I was acting a character called Sam. So Mary Mella's House was basically a story about a group of people who basically share a house together. So basically, we were living within the same roof. I was living there with my mom, and so it was basically the drama around the house. It's what actually exposed me to the production world. I saw how productions were handled, but I was mostly, during that period, I was mostly in the production, the shooting stage. I never really saw the pre-production and the post-production. So I got interested in now getting to know how this actually worked and all that. And it went on for like four years. And every single time it used to get even more interesting. The story would get, the plot would thicken more or less. And it finally ended in 2015. And I think it's
2015.
Yes.
So meaning it started in 20?
It started in 2012.
2012. Oh, I had 16 around.
No.
Okay, 2012.
2012
right.
to 2015. So by the time it was ending, it was the saddest day of my life. I won't lie. But it sparked now my desire to actually get into the production and understand how to make these stories, how to write them, how to execute them, and how to actually make them end up being on screen.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how it basically all began.
All right, interesting. So you started when you were around 14.
Yeah.
And then, so now you went into, did you go to school to learn about film production and everything? When you got curious and wanted to know about the behind-the-scenes production? So
I didn't technically go to school, but I had mentors here and there who helped me through. I really thank the Kenya National Theatre. I got a couple of people who taught me how to script write.
Okay.
And then directing, basically, it's been a self-learning process. We would go on sets. I sit down, watch how the directors would go around with the shoots and all that. Take a note here and there, and basically from there I've been working also on bettering myself with the directing, more or less.
Oh, that's interesting. So you've learned purely from passion and interest, and you've come up with your own company. Founded your own company. That's big. So when did you decide to start your company?
So we are a group of actually 5 people. So back in 2017, I met with a couple of multimedia students who are also focusing on films. So I was invited to do a short film with one of my friends who I was with in high school and who knew I had a passion for acting. And I met with amazing creatives who, in 2017, we sat down and said, we can actually make it work for ourselves. We can try and set up a company. And basically it started off as just, let's tell a story. Sat down, wrote a short script, got a camera, put it on and basically shot through it and edited it, and you were like, yeah, we can actually do this as more than a passion. It can actually be a company. Yeah.
And that's how it started.
Yeah, basically that's.
So 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys work together till date?
To this day, we work together. It's amazing because we've gone through a lot of highs and lows, and we've managed to weather it through because it has been a journey of. There are times when you're doing zero budget films that you basically don't have money. The moments where you actually have a good budget, you're shooting, you're enjoying yourselves, but production tends to find out throwing you curveballs every single time. An actor disappoints you on the day of the shoot. You have to look for an alternative and all that, but it makes us better. I believe if something what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So throughout, it has taught us how to become even better friends. It's made us improve our efficiency in terms of the company, knowing that with every single plan that we make, we have to always have a plan B to run to.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name Real Productions? I'm curious.
So Real Productions, it sounds very nice, but the story is quite, I would say, bland. Because we wanted a unique name, a name that is not, that rings in the ear, but at the same time is very easy to roll off the tongue. Okay. So our first idea was to do Royal Productions. But when we searched it, we found lots of companies with the name of Royal Productions. So basically, we went to Google and changed the name. So Real is actually Catalan for Royal. So basically, we had it and we were like, yes, now that sounds like something we want to name our company after.
Okay, yeah. That's creative. Changing the name to, well, twisting it. Same
just
meaning, just by a different language. Okay, nice. So with your experience as an actor, or let me ask, does your experience as an actor help you as a director and as a scriptwriter? Because that's how you started as an actor.
Yeah. So as a scriptwriter, it does help, but personally, I feel like it plays a bigger role for me as a director, because I now understand from the actor's perspective how it is to be told you have to own a particular part, you have to play a particular part in a particular way. I'm not only looking at it from a production's point of view, I'm looking at it from how am I going to make this actor become the character that is on the script, to become more than just lines and actions, for him to actually own that role. So I believe my acting experience and my directors that also helped me through my acting greatly influenced my directing. With my script writing, it does, but I believe with my scripting, it's more of my imaginative world, because I tend to be very, very imaginative with it, more or less.
Okay. Because I wanted to ask you also that how do you come up with a storyline, for like a film, and what types of film do you do? Do you do series? Or do you do everything?
So we basically started off with short stories. Very short films, anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. We took a shot at a feature film. It's called Orange Juice. We've not yet released it yet, but it's just about to be released. We are currently trying to do series. It's proving to be more difficult than we expected, but we enjoyed the challenge. So basically, for now, we were focusing on short films, advertisements and all that, very short stories that we are able to capture within anywhere from 30 seconds to 30 minutes. So yeah, that's our main menu for now.
Tell me about, I know that you have been part of some award-winning films. So tell us about them.
I'll never forget the very first one. It was called Soldier. Soldier is a story, it was an Easter story. It is about a watchman who actually is lynched by a mob instead of the real thief who had stolen I think it was a pass. So basically what happens is the thief steals the pass, and he's caught by a mob. But in the process where the mob is still trying to understand what is going on, as watchman comes, who knows him, comes and vouches for this guy. As he vouches for this guy, this thief runs away. The mob gets angry, turns on him, and kills this guy. But by the virtue of the watchman being killed, this thief is basically reformed. He goes back to Christ, basically.
Oh.
Yes, and it was for JCC. We actually won an award for it.
Okay.
Was,
JCC, the church?
Yeah, the church. One of my proudest moments, I won't lie.
It should be. What role were you playing there?
I was the first AD. I was not in the... I was more on the crew. Okay. I was the first assistant director. It was an amazing project to work on. I worked with amazing people that I still work with to this day. And yeah, it was a good film that I did.
One that has made impact.
Yes. Yes.
Is that the essence of, before you tell us about the others, is that the essence of storytelling? What is the power of telling stories, of these stories that you tell through movies, through films, and whatever we see on screens?
So I believe that every story deserves telling, because every story has a lesson to it. It's an art form, and I believe art always has something to say, and every story has an impact in someone else's life. I might not really be aware of what exactly it does, but I believe a story well told will always resonate with someone, and it might hopefully have a positive change in their life. It might be something memorable, something that for a lifetime they'll always say, I watched one film one day that had this impact on my life, and that feeling, that attachment to a story is what actually drives me, what wakes me up every day and wants me to go and take a camera and shoot again, just to make an art form that will last for a lifetime, more or less.
Amazing. I think that's beautiful, really. And, I know that stories, films evoke emotions.
Yeah.
You would watch something and you would cry, and this is something that has just been enacted, or something that just been scripted, but you'd find yourself crying to it, you'd find yourself going through, through the emotions that are there. So what does it take, again, back to you as a director and as a script writer, to make sure that these things come out when you're writing the stories, and and the actors actually deliver on what you have, because you might have something, but it's not delivered.
So I believe that with storytelling, you basically have to put your heart into it. When you're writing that story, you don't write it from your brain. You write it with your heart. You write a story that I say that I love, a story that you're attached to. Basically, you pour your soul out into the paper, right? How you feel those emotions. And now when it moves from the scriptwriter's hand to the director's hand, the director has to, how will I put this, be in the moment, understand how to be more than, he needs to have a third eye into what the scriptwriter was feeling at the moment when he was writing that script, to make it ooze of emotion. Because among the greatest stories that I have ever watched is Titanic. I think everyone who's watched Titanic at least shed a tear.
And you have to.
Yeah, and to imagine that as much as it's a true story, the actors, the directors, every one of them put in the time, because basically you need to put in the time, you need to put in the effort, you need to understand the lines, the script to more than just lines. You need to understand the emotions behind each and every word that was put there, the meaning, the essence, so that by the time you are getting on set and the cameras are rolling, it is not the lines which are being said, it is the environment, because for you to even shoot a scene, you need to be able to set the mood for the scene. You need to be able to get the lighting right. You need to be able to get the costumes right, the makeup, the set design. It has a lot of facets, so that by the time it is being viewed, it's not just what the actor is saying, it is what the actor is saying, it is what the viewer is seeing, it is how the actor is saying those lines. So, and that basically all falls into the director's hands. He needs to really carry the shoulder of bringing the emotions of the scriptwriter now to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. You've talked about the Titanic, and I remember you mentioned different kind of films that you have done. You know, some are zero budget, some have a budget, and all that. So how do you? Because when you say zero budget, does it mean that? Because I know there are things that are needed every other time. You have to even the water that is being, you know, is part of the budget. So how do you go about doing such productions?
So, for us at least, every production starts from the moment we come up with an idea. So there are two avenues that we normally do it. We'll either, one of us, they'll like come up with an idea, they'll be like, I think it will be nice for us to tell a story about A, B, C, D. Or we get a film festival that has a particular theme that needs to be worked on. So basically, once that has been set out, there is now the scripting process, where we go into the scripter's room. So basically, it's throwing ideas. We just sit down, everyone with a paper and pen, and basically just throw out ideas. You're like, okay, what if this, the film starts like this, like this, like this? Someone else tells, okay, what if instead of it starting like A, we do C and D or something like that. So basically, it's throwing ideas around until we have something. We have at least a skeleton of the script. Once we have the skeleton, we know, okay, it'll start here. This is the highest. This is the climax, and then this is where the script will be ending. We now start fleshing it out. We now start giving the characters names. We start thinking about locations, thinking about such issues, so that when the scriptwriter, because now from there now we designate a scriptwriter.
Okay.
So once a scriptwriter has been designated, he basically has something to work with. So after that, basically we move now to proper, I call it the proper pre-production. So that's where we do location scouting, we do costume and makeup and design. Basically, we also do prepping, so we basically know where we're going to be getting our equipment from, which type of equipment we're going to be getting, and then there is the schedule for the shoot date. Yeah, basically those are the main things in pre-production. Sorry, and also acquiring the actors, and the talent, and the crew, and all that.
So that's where the auditions come in and everything. Okay.
Yeah. So once that has been done, and a date has been set for the shoot. So basically, up till that day of the shoot, we are still in the pre-production process. We have various meetings here and there, just to get every bit right, for us not to have a set day that you are basically getting there and you're like, oh no, we did not expect this.
Yeah, we did not do this. Okay.
Yeah. So from there, now we get to the production itself. And I believe if once we've done the pre-production, the production usually rolls by itself. So it's basically arriving at the call time, setting up, basically, because most of the time we use Airbnbs and houses and basically the location. So you basically have a pre-shoot where we basically take a photo of every single aspect of the house, the way it looks, just to make sure by the time we're leaving, we leave it the way it looked. Because
change things up.
We'll have to.
You have your own design and everything. So makes sense.
So that's usually the very first thing you get into the house before anything is moved, touched, set up. Basically, take a full photo of the whole house, make sure, and also for our own legal security, so that in case something is missing, we are like, no, we took photos before and it was here, and all that, so that we also protect ourselves. After that, now basically the crew go into full force. So set design does the magic, makeup artists goes and makes our actors and actresses look gorgeous. The director goes with the actors mostly to just run through lines, get them to feel natural, get them relaxed. And basically, production it basically rolls by itself, because once the schedule has been set out, it's just basically like following a timetable. You know, at this time, we're supposed to be doing this, at this time, we're supposed to be doing this, And the first AD does a brilliant job of always making sure we're on toes.
You're on time.
Yeah,
Everything is happening as it should.
yeah.
What's the difference between a producer and a director in film?
So basically, a producer is, let's say, the overall boss of everything. He or she is the one person who will make sure from the moment that project was a concept to the moment it's on screen, he or she is always making sure that it is on time, it has the resources that it requires, it has the best talent for that project. So basically, they're the ones who are going to be outsourcing outsource the talent, helping get investors as well, and yeah, basically those nitty-gritties.
Okay.
A director, on the other hand, is more on the creative side. He's making sure that this project is creatively at its peak, its best. So he's going to be working with the crew and the cast, making sure that they're doing their best. They are making sure that the dream that was in the scriptwriter's mind is achieved, by the end of the project.
All right.
So yeah.
So that's the production bit of it. And now you said when we're starting, the post-production is where the magic happens.
Yes.
So what do you mean where the magic happens?
So this is where basically all the, how am I going to put this? It's basically where, because whenever we are on set and you look at the footage that we shot on set and the footage that we finally put out, there's something that is a bit off, but basically the post-production is basically now where the editing happens. This is where we do the special effects. This is because we also use green screens every now and then. So this is where it will stop being green and now it'll have some special effects behind there. It's where noise cancellation comes in. It is where those small errors that probably were made during productions are corrected. This is where also shots, this is where our best shots are taken and made into a masterpiece, basically.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we have the pre-production, production, and post-production. So through all this, we have seen that there's some money that is being used. You said sometimes you go to Airbnb, so you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So when you say the productions where you work on a zero budget, so how does it work?
So technically, it's not like zero budget.
It's
not completely zero.
What do you mean by zero?
Basically, it's a shoestring budget. You don't have enough. So for us, we usually really like appreciating people for their talents. And I would like to, whenever we bring out an actor, a crew member, I would like to be able to compensate them for their talent and their skill. However, at times you find that the amount of money, and especially when we were starting out, we experience this a lot. You find that the amount of money we do have basically is just enough for maybe getting a camera or getting the location. And there's also food and maybe a few set design aspects. So basically you'd have to go to guys and be like, hi, so I have a project. I don't know if you'd be interested in it, and unfortunately we cannot be able to compensate you right now. But if you'd be willing to come out, help us with it, we'd really appreciate it. And that's why I usually consider it as a zero budget, because basically every single coin that you have is not going towards basically appreciating people's skills and talents. It's basically a passion project, something that is each and every creative that is in that set is helping towards bringing this story to life. And there's no compensation there's no compensation really being given back to them. They're just doing it purely out of passion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the love of the art.
Yes.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense. Now, when you have a good budget, now you're able to pay the different talents that are there and to facilitate the production to its best, because I know for a bigger project you need a higher budget, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now back to what I'm almost forgetting to ask you. But what has been your biggest challenge? I don't know if it's financing, but biggest challenge in the film industry?
The biggest challenge I would say is basically just, yes, financing is a big challenge, but so is every other business. But specifically with the film industry, it's it's access to the population. Yes, we do have YouTube, a media where we could be able to share our content with the wider audience. But in terms of, like in Kenya, it's very difficult for you to basically just put down a good film and take it and be able to screen it. There are a lot of checklists, which I also do understand why they're in place. However, I don't know, I would personally really appreciate if it could be reviewed and checked over again, so that it makes it easier for upcoming artists and talent to be able to showcase their talent to basically Kenyans without necessarily having to go to big productions or experiencing a lot of stumbling blocks, because it's extremely expensive to screen a film in Kenya, which is not. I do understand the reasoning behind it.
Is that on the Kenyan television, or where exactly? Is it in the cinemas, is it in the streaming platforms?
So basically it's everywhere, if it is television, cinema, because there are a couple of regulations that you actually have to fulfill before they actually your content is actually allowed to be viewed on cinemas and TV.
Okay.
However, the problem with them is they cost money. It's not necessarily just
a process that you just
follow.
But you have to.
There is money that is incurred through basically every stage. So by the time it greatly increases the price of a production, which hampers upcoming artists from basically showcasing their talent to our local audience. Because YouTube is a good media, but I love coming to watch Kenyan films at National Theatre. I love watching Kenyan films in theatres around. It has a natural feel to it. You understand the actors, you understand the locations. It's a beautiful experience, as opposed to watching big. It's good to watch the big films, the Avengers and all that, but it has a different touch to watching a Kenyan film.
Okay, so there's a difference. So now, what needs to be done? The process needs to be made a little bit, to be lightened a little bit, so that it can be accessible by everyone.
Yeah, okay, I understand, and I do understand the reason for the process and how tedious it is. It's to make sure that the content that is finally being put out to the public is age appropriate, it is well regulated and also well done. However, it is making it, if it could be made cheaper, or it's just the process, if the government could be able to even subsidize some of the what do you call it, tariffs that are charged throughout the process, it would greatly help filmmakers showcase their content to the Kenyan audience, and basically build the Kenyan film industry to a point where you hearing someone going to watch a Kenyan film is an occurrence that happens basically every day.
Oh, okay. So it's just the government coming in, chipping in a little bit to facilitate the process, reduce the prices and everything else. So what would you say that there's opportunity in the film industry in Kenya for someone who wants to be, anything from a director, producer, an actor, an AD, whatever it is?
So the beauty about the Kenyan film industry is there are opportunities. They're not easy to find, but if you look hard enough, you will find opportunities. You're not going to come into a production and start by being a director. You'll start with being a gaffer. You basically have to go through the process, but throughout, the beauty of production is with each and every set that you walk into, you become just a bit better than the last set that you were in. So with time, yes, there are opportunities. However, you have to really, really look for them. It's not as easy as just...
You have to go through the process before you get to, your films showing on Netflix and this other pay, as whatever.
Good paying platforms, Okay,
interesting. And how do you see the film industry in Kenya? How are we evolving over time from when you started? Have you seen it evolve, and where do you think it's going?
So yes, the film industry has greatly evolved, and I'll not lie, I'm really proud of how far it's come. When I was acting back then, my show was not even on YouTube. I used to have to wait for the show at 11 and pray and hope. Yeah, it's Timothy Poteke PLC doesn't do anything because they're not going to watch that episode. And over time, the Kenyan industry has basically welcomed technology. Been among the proudest people to see Kenyan films on Netflix. Showmax is basically a flood with Kenyan films. And yeah, it's reached a point where we have grown to welcome and actually love our own art. Because by the time by that time, people, if you'd find someone watching Kenyan films, they would be like, I don't really like Kenyan films. They don't understand Kenyan films. To a point now that it's something that every now and again you hear people saying, yeah, have you watched the film by Nani Nani? It's a very good one. Yeah, it's a very warming experience. I'm really proud of how far we've come. And I believe within the next 10 years, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, at least in Africa, if not the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I've also seen the change, when you watch Kenyan films now, there's a difference, and something that you just sit and enjoy and actually be proud of. On Netflix, we have a Kenyan movie, so everyone wants to watch the Kenyan movie that's there. So I think that's something. So now back to, before we close, the business bit of it for entrepreneurs. I believe that you as a filmmaker, you're an entrepreneur on your side. So how is it as a business for you? Is it how do you make it profitable?
So the film business is a difficult one. I have a story where we did a shoot, and the worst part about film is, as opposed to these other service industries where you actually get paid fast before you get the service. With the film industry, before I'll actually receive the first amount of cash, work has already begun on your project because we are scripting it, your location scouting, and all that. So I'll never forget, we were invited for a wedding, to shoot a wedding. Took the first upfront money, and we had given her a particular budget. She was like, it's good, I'm going to pay you all the whole amount. Once we went and finished shooting the wedding and provided the content and we were waiting for the other half, she didn't pay. She ghosted on us. And it's a very difficult business to keep afloat because you always have running costs. Every single time you're going for production, the running costs are crazily high. The profit margins are not big, but it's a beautiful business to be in. It gives me the reason to wake up every day and want to do it again. It's difficult,
but
it's a headache, but yeah, it is worth the while. It is beautiful to see your product on people's social media platforms and all that. It's lovely.
Okay. So I think as Kenyans, we need to appreciate when we have a Kenyan film showing and they're charging this much. It's so inexpensive. Let's understand what goes into
give that
it.
guy whoever the producer, the whole team has worked incredibly hard. Appreciate them.
Yeah, it's good to appreciate our own, and it propels them further. So that we are also counted in the map, the world map, when it comes to filming. And finally, before I miss this, what do you have coming up? I know you've mentioned orange juice.
Yeah.
So tell us, how do we wait for it? Where do we get it? How long will it take? And any other thing that's coming up?
So if you follow us on our social media platforms, we're going to be keeping you updated on all aspects of orange juice, from because we are just finishing up a few things.
Okay.
We've decided that we're actually going to screen this one because we'd like for the Kenyan audience to finally see our work.
That's nice.
The other thing would be, we are trying out a YouTube series. It's called Muse. Muse. Follow us. You'll be able to get on all social media platforms. It's Real Productions. So you'll be able to basically keep up with every single step of the way. Muse is a bit far off. We might be within a month or so be able to see our work.
So orange juice is any time from now?
Yes, anytime
Okay.
from now. I like the suspense.
All right. You would tell us a little bit about orange juice, what it is about, something that we can be looking forward to.
So Orange Juice was a story that we wrote some time back. It's a story about this guy who goes online, basically. He's a social media predator. So he goes online, he falls in love with women from online platforms, invites them over, takes time, knows them, and once he has known them, there's just our drive in him that makes him do quite psychopathic things. So he kills them and moves to the next one, kills them, moves to the next one. So we're basically following his slow journey towards basically realizing that, oh, I am the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so just watch out, just keep an eye out. You're going to be seeing it real soon.
Must be interesting. I'll personally look, be following up on it. So remind us the social media. Real Production, it's R-E?
R-E-I-A-L
okay.
Productions.
R-E-I-A-L Productions.
Yes.
Okay, so that's something. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's something that you want to add before I close it. This is your camera.
Oh, basically all I would love to say is I thank you, number one, for this opportunity, Y254. It's brilliant. Thank you for supporting Kenyan talent. And yeah, I'm just happy to be a filmmaker, a director, and being able to do what I love.
Okay, for an upcoming actor who's out there, what do you want to tell them?
Keep grinding. It is difficult, but it is the most beautiful art form you'll enjoy it. At the end, when you look back at your portfolio, it is going to be a beautiful work of art.
Okay, and it takes passion, right?
Yeah, it does take passion.
Clearly, thank you very much, Anthony, for coming on board.
No problem.
We're definitely looking forward to watching Orange Juice.
Yeah.
All right, I hope you are, because I am. So follow them at Real Production across all social media platforms. Real is R-E-I-A-L Productions, and this is where we bring it to a close of this particular conversation, but also the whole show. Thank you very much for staying with us almost till around 3 minutes to 10. We appreciate your company. My name is Stephanie Ayata, and on behalf of the team, we wish you a lovely day ahead. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.